You don't quit because you're lazy. You quit because your brain betrays you at the exact same moment every time, and you don't even realize it's happening. You start something feeling unstoppable, disciplined, locked in, and then a few days later, that version of you is gone, like it never existed. Nighttime motivation feels powerful, but it's a lie your brain uses to feel productive without changing anything. Then reality hits, effort shows up, and you quietly disappear. You don't fail loudly, you fade out. And while you're restarting from zero again and again, other people are building momentum, earning respect, and moving ahead without you. Here's the dangerous part. There's a specific point where most people quit for good, not once, but for years. And if you don't learn to recognize that moment, this cycle won't just repeat next week, it'll repeat for the next decade of your life. You think you quit because you lost motivation, but motivation was never the problem. The real reason you always stop is because your brain hits resistance and instantly interprets it as a warning, not a challenge. The moment effort starts to feel boring, uncomfortable, or slow, your mind tells you something is wrong, so you pull back. Not consciously, automatically. This is the point no one talks about. The second your progress stops giving you emotional rewards, your brain tries to protect you by pushing you toward comfort. Scrolling, sleeping in, starting again on Monday. And the scary part? Every time you obey that impulse, you train your brain to associate consistency with pain and quitting with relief. That's why restarting feels exciting and staying consistent feels heavy. You're not weak. You've just been conditioning yourself in the wrong direction without realizing it. Here's the first rule that actually changes consistency, and it's the one most people avoid because it exposes them. Consistency is not an action, it's an identity. You don't quit because it's hard. You quit because quitting still feels like you. When effort starts to feel heavy, you don't lose discipline. You start protecting the version of yourself that's used to stopping. So you negotiate. You delay. You say later. And the moment you do, your brain relaxes. Because it just defended the identity it recognizes. That's the dangerous part. Every time you act like the old version of you, you reinforce it. Every time you don't show up, that identity gets stronger. But the flip side is just as real. The moment you start showing up without debate, something shifts. You stop asking how you feel. You stop waiting for motivation. You act because that's who you are now. And every time you do, the old identity weakens. Consistency doesn't grow from force, it grows from repetition. And whatever you repeat, you become. Here's the mistake that quietly destroys consistency. Aiming for perfect. Every time you set the bar high, you're gambling your identity on motivation. And motivation always leaves. Big plans feel ambitious, but they're fragile. They work on day one, maybe day two, and then effort shows up and everything collapses. That's why missing one day feels dangerous. Not because the habit mattered, but because your brain starts doubting you again. One miss turns into two. Two turns into I'll restart properly. That's the real damage. The streak matters more than the effort, because once the streak dies, your brain stops trusting you. That's why something small done daily isn't weak, it's protective. It protects your identity. It keeps I'm consistent alive. Protect the streak at all costs, and your life slowly upgrades in the background. Break it, and you'll keep reliving the same day one over and over again. Here's the third rule most people never apply. Remove choice, not effort. The moment something becomes a daily decision, you've already made it fragile. Every morning you ask, should I do it today? You're giving your brain an escape route, and it will use it. Not because you're weak, but because your mind is designed to conserve energy and avoid discomfort. High performers don't have more discipline. They have fewer decisions. They don't wake up and negotiate with themselves. They set things up so not showing up feels strange, even uncomfortable. That's the shift. When the choice disappears, consistency survives bad moods, low energy, and boring days. And once showing up becomes the default, effort stops feeling like resistance and starts feeling like routine. The kind that quietly compounds while everyone else is still debating whether today is the right day to start. Here's what all of this really comes down to. Consistency isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in the boring ones you usually ignore. The days where nothing feels exciting, where no one is watching, where quitting would be easy and invisible. That's where your future actually gets decided. Not when you're motivated, Not when you feel confident, but when showing up feels pointless and you do it anyway. Because every time you keep a small promise to yourself, your brain updates who you are. And every time you break one, it remembers that too. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about choosing which version of you gets reinforced daily. The one who always restarts, or the one who doesn't need a fresh start anymore. The scary truth is this: a year from now, your life will look exactly like the patterns you repeat after this video ends. Before you scroll, understand this: nothing you just heard matters unless something changes today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today. Because motivation fades fast, but patterns don't. If you want consistency, don't promise yourself a big transformation. Choose one small action you'll repeat no matter how you feel, and protect that streak like it's your identity. No excitement, no perfect setup. Just show up once, then again tomorrow. If this hit you, don't save it for later. That's the old pattern talking. Stay here, rewatch the part you needed most, and decide which version of you gets reinforced after this video ends. You already know what you need to do. The only question is whether you'll do it when this video stops. Because consistency doesn't fail loudly. It fails quietly, when you say later and mean never. If you want proof you're changing, don't feel inspired, feel uncomfortable, and still show up. One small action today. Protect the streak, because the version of you that quits is hoping you scroll, and the version of you that wins is built in what you do next.